teacher's telling you to do something, right? But you're also leading because you're getting all your friends are going to organize to do something. You might be a leader there. Or you might be a leader at home telling your little sister or little brother what to do, right? You also follow them because your parents are going to guide you. But you're also leading, some other people, your younger classmates, follow me, well, let's play this game. So think about it. You're always leading and following at the same time. It's not that I'm a leader and I'm going to be a leader, that's all I do, lead. Bill Gates is a follower too. Okay? So you're always leading and following. It's a multiple thing. It's always happening. It's a dynamic process. You may be a leader of this project, but you're just going to be a follower in this other project. Okay? Knowing your role on the team. You guys have studied teamwork to some degree. Each team, one of the characteristics of the team is it has a goal. What is the team's goal? Like in basketball, the goal is to win. Right? To win. And know your role on the team. Right? You guys play basketball, like there's a point guard, there's a center, there's a power forward. Each of them has a specific role. Point guard is to, provide opportunities and for other people to score. It's to move the basketball quickly so that the defense can react. Right? The center is to guard the basket, get the rebound. The people on the bench, the subs, their role there too. They're supporting their teamwork, the team players that are playing, and the good subs come in and they provide energy, right? So everybody has a role in the team. So even in your social circle, even with your group of friends, everybody has a role. Some people are the jokesters. They tell jokes. That's their role. Yeah, my jokes there. Other people are ones who say, no, we need to study. We need to buckle down. So there are different leaders in any team, okay? So know your role, and your role will change too. One time you say, well, let's have fun. And the next thing you say, no, let's study. So, again, really dynamic situation. Am I making sense? Okay, thank you. Number 8. Work towards goals and practice your leadership skills. Okay. Play, read, practice. Heard that. Now let's just, for the people who are in school right now, think about this. Say 5 years from now, 6 years from now, you may be at an interview. You may be at an interview. The interview might be for college admission, or you might be interviewing for your first job, right? And I hired a lot of people where I work. I hired people, you hired people. So, there's a certain process with hiring. You have interview questions, and you have a panel that are trying to listen to the person who's you're thinking about hiring. So you want to be hired for this job, you come in, you tell us about yourself, we ask certain questions, you answer, right? Now the last question for my interviews, and I'm sure it's pretty common in general, is there anything else? Is there anything else that you want to tell me, or tell our group here, about yourself that we don't know, or that you want to emphasize in this interview? Right? It's a catch-all. Did we miss anything? We want to know who you are in the process of this back and forth. So here's a little catch-all. So what? Tell us something about yourself that you know. A lot of people go, well, I'm a hard worker. Or, I come to work on time. I'll come to work on time. But what I'm listening for, and what the person who is hiring for a job or trying to make a distinction between candidates, what they're trying to do is, they're trying to determine something more than that. What they're trying to do is they're trying to figure out, who is this person really? So if you say something like, we really didn't have much time to talk about leadership in an interview, and I like to talk about leadership because that's something that I'm interested in. And I know I want to develop my leadership abilities, and beyond that, I really love working with people. I love working with teams. I love the give and take process of working on teams. I like working on big goals that involve more than just me. I like working goals that are team goals. Because by team goals, we can accomplish more things. And you know what? Sometimes when I have to, I try to initiate things to happen. I get a group together. We start talking about things, or I suggest changes to happen and all this. And I like to work in an organization or a school that's sort of like that. For me, I'm sitting back as a reviewer, and I'm sure a lot of people are thinking, my goodness, this person is on the top list of my candidates. they're going to talk to some of my candidates because they understand that one person doing something is great, but when that person realizes that they can do more things to people and enjoy it and are willing to do it, that's a tremendous benefit. Colleges are going to say, well, what do you mean by that? I say, well, I organize study groups. In high school, I organize study groups. Oh, they will love you for that. Or, when we separate into little teams to talk about certain things, I always volunteer to be the team leader. Obviously, we need to tell the truth. If you didn't do that, don't say that. But think about it. If you practice your leadership skills, and you say that with confidence and truthfulness, then I'm sitting back going, okay, here's a list of yes, we're going to talk to them again or hire them, or no, we're not going to hire them, or in between, if we talk to people, if we choose different jobs, we may have to look at this. Okay, so does that make sense to you? So practice your leadership skills, and there are different ways that you can do that. Okay? Okay, this is the last slide. I know you guys are tired of this slide. This is the last slide. Homer Simpson has a question. So, are there anybody here that has any questions? I can see somebody's laughing. That's good. That's positive. Was it worthwhile? Was this discussion worthwhile? Yes.
Where do you work?
Where did I work?
Yeah.
I worked for the city of Glendale, and I was the director of environmental resources there for many, many years. And through that process, I dealt with mayors, city managers, business owners, citizen leaders, my staffs from other departments. So it was through that process where, leadership sort of slapped me in the face. I think management courses in college and did all that, but really, this is where, they said, Doug, you're in a position, as well as other people, your peers, that need to be leaders. You need to develop leadership skills. So I said, okay, let's do it. Tell me how. So, yes.
Good question. Were you a leader when you were in junior high or high school? And what was that like?
Yes and no. I was a reluctant leader. I would get a kid that sit back there, sit down. Okay, and we'll be given a task or something, right? I sit back and I see if the leadership develops. I said, okay. And if I see leadership doesn't develop, if nobody's taking the leadership that makes sense to me, then at some point I would say, okay, why don't we try this? And I start taking over the leadership role. But I wouldn't be the kid who say, we need a leader. No, that's not me. I was like, let somebody else be the leader. Let someone else be the leader. Because I knew leadership is a responsibility. And as a kid, I didn't want responsibility. I was like, somebody else wants to do it, fine. As long as we get it done, I get A in my class. Is that like you?
Unfortunately, I was a leader picked when I was
Okay. So we're all different. We all have our situations now. So when you go back to school, think about, when these groups are being formed and all this, what I would do as part of practicing the leadership skills is every time you see something, think about, okay, so who's the leader? Who's the leader of the situation? And don't think of this teacher and all that. But in your social groups, so who's the leader? Because your parents know who the leaders are. Your parents will know exactly who the leaders are in your social group. They'll say, hey, Jane's a leader. And you go like, what? Where did you get that from? But they know because they see that they are initiating, they're involving people to do something. So I'm an introvert, I'm sort of a slight introvert, which is sort of like not the ideal leader to start off with. And that's probably why I sit back and go, does it work? If it doesn't work, then I do two things. First thing is I leave that group, or I say, hey, wait a minute, we gotta do it, let's do this. So, look into each one of yourselves, and you have the whole life out there, you don't believe you still like it. Sooner or better. This is just for awareness. So, with that, if you have no more questions, thank you very much.
Before you guys go, I'm going to tell you a little bit about, Christmas time frame. I'll tell you a little bit about next year. So I'm going to show you a couple things that were, cheers plan. This is for both parents and also for the kids right here. So I'm going to put this one in, and so for the kids, this is time to kind of stand up. I see some of you guys want to stand. Let's do something fun. So all the kids stand up. All right, stretch a little bit, all right? Getting old. Let's play a game called Do the Opposite, all right? So you guys at home, you guys duking it out with your parents, whatever, so this is something you might be good at. Just wanted to see if you're paying attention. So, here's a game. Okay, I say a number. Say 3, 4, whatever number. Say between 1 and 10, or whatever, all right? And I say as fast as I can, and I want you to raise one hand and show number finger that's not what the number I told you. So for example, I say 1, show 3, show 2, whatever. Okay, just see if you're paying attention, all right? Easy game. So let me get started. 5, 2, 5, 6, 3, 7. You're smart. You just never change unless I say 2. All right, next one. All right. So when I say, this is kind of a little bit broader. If I say, raise your right hand, what do you do? Okay, opposite. All right. So left hand up. Right hand up. Look to the right. Look to the left. Sit down. Just kidding, all right? Is that fun? Okay, cool. All right, sit down.